Afternoon, friends. Good evening, good morning, depending on where you're watching. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. Hey, folks, if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, you're in the right spot. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you go to things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Hey, today we're going to have an unbelievable show for you, and we have a special guest who will be joining us shortly. But we're going to talk about Stephan Sterns and Jennifer Soto. 896 additional documents, pages that were released from the attorney, Bain. It's released from his office. My good friend Plunder uploaded the video last night. I am working on looking at those documents and going over them, but these are incriminating documents. It's making not only Stephan Sterns look worse, but it's also making Jennifer Soto not look so great. By a show of hands here in the chat, how many of you guys have seen or heard about these 896 additional documents as it pertains to the death of the murder of Madeline Soto? Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen it, or just say yes. Put a no in the chat if you haven't seen it. Again, I'm working on obtaining those, and these are the overwhelming amount of evidence that's outstanding against Stephan Sterns. And within these 896 pages, there are statements in there that allege Stephan Sterns put Madeline Soto inside the trunk of his vehicle. Horrific, just really difficult to hear. On top of the CSAM and all of the bad things that he did, video, photographs, and things of that nature, it just makes it that much more horrific. So let's take a listen to this. This is local news coverage on Stephan Sterns.
Is seeking the death penalty against Stephan Sterns.
He's charged with first-degree murder for the death of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. West 2's Gail Pascal-Brown is live in studio and explains what went into that decision. Gail?
Jesse, Stephan Sterns was arrested on 60 charges back in March, including capital sexual battery, lewd lascivious molestation, and unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child before that murder charge was filed in April. Now, state prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty against him based on several factors. 37-year-old Stephan Sterns is the boyfriend of Madeline's mother, Jennifer Soto. Madeline was first reported missing on February 26th. Now, Sterns told investigators he dropped the teenager off near Hunters Creek Middle School in Orange County. Her mom went to pick her up from school, but surveillance cameras showed that she never made it to campus. Madeline Soto's body was found several days later on March 1st in a wooded area of Osceola County. State Attorney Andrew Bain, who stopped by our studios earlier tonight, says the decision to seek the death penalty is based on several aggravating factors the state intends to prove.
There were several of them. A few of them had to do with the capital offenses that he's already been charged with. There are others that had to deal with his familial relation with the child. There are others due to the cruel and heinous nature of the events. And so all those factors all put together have allowed us to move forward.
So I want to stop it there, because if you listen closely to what Attorney Bain says, he talks about this case just a little bit more, because when the discovery is shared with the defense attorney, it allows them to discuss just a tad bit more. So thank you to everybody who's joining in. I see Joey Brooklyn and a couple of others in the chat. Dawn Marie, thank you. He is beyond, Diane, an evil man. He's a monster. He's a demon.
Aggravating factors the state intends to prove.
There were several of them. A few of them had to do with the capital offenses that he's already been charged with. There are others that had to deal with his familial relation with the child. There are others due to the cruel and heinous nature of the events. And so all those factors all put together have allowed us to move forward and decide whether we're going to see the death penalty.
When asked about other charges in this case, or if other people will face charges, State Attorney Andrew Bain said he's not sure yet.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there, because that is a reference to Jennifer Soto right there. the news reporters are on to what we're all talking about, what the elephant in the room is, and that is why. Why has Jennifer Soto not been charged with anything? And this little snippet right here has everything to do with the question of will Jennifer Soto be charged? And the state attorney said he didn't say yes or no. So basically, let's just listen again.
State Attorney Andrew Bain said he's not sure yet. The investigation is still open and ongoing.
Have allowed us to move forward in deciding whether we're going to see the death penalty.
When asked about other charges in this case or if other people will face charges, State Attorney Andrew Bain said he's not sure yet. The investigation is still open and ongoing regarding that matter. He adds Stephan Sterns has been the main suspect in the death of Madeline Soto. Stearns is also accused of sexually abusing Madeline. His pretrial hearing is set for next month.
And that pretrial hearing, we'll cover that live if it's available, or we'll talk about it that night. Ed Wallace is back on U.S. soil. He's resting up. He's back. He made it in late last night from Morocco. Ed is in the USA. He's back here in New York. This case is troubling, and the case that I'm going to talk to you about, which involves CSAM, is very troubling. A young mother, now single mother, the biological father of her child, was arrested for 2 charges. And it was a whole slew of charges, but essentially we're going to get into it with her. She's going to be joining us. I was introduced to her by Charlotte Senna. Remember Charlotte Senna, the 9-year-old who was upstate New York, kidnapped, held captive for 2 days in September of 2023. Well, her aunt, Janae, put me on to my guest that's going to be coming on. But before we get to her, I want to play this video from Plunder. And it was, she aired it last night. And I got to tell you, it's a long video. It's an hour. So I'll link it here in the description. But listen to what Plunder has to say about these documents that she had access to from, I believe one of her good friends sent her access to these documents, and she read them out. And again, kudos to Plunder for getting this stuff quick, and all of the folks who are out there doing those FOIL requests. So let's take a listen to what she had to say. And I didn't get to hear this, so I'm going to play it from the midsection of it. Actually, let's play it from the beginning.
That forensics, we saw all that stuff, so cops were like, look, you guys got to find somewhere else to go for the night. They'll even talk about how Maddie's grandma, Yolanda, who is Jennifer's mom, does not like Stearns. Now we're going to hear about this detective making a special note of the fact that Jennifer was speaking about Maddie in the past tense. But what is this new job at Disney that was so important to Jen that it was just so exhausting for her that she felt it was okay to tell Maddie and Stefan, oh, go sleep on another floor, even not even just in another bedroom, but on another floor as well. It just blows my mind. The features that she is going to recognize on Stefan when detectives show her more photos of his hands, his junk and everything, which elaborates on what we read before. It's not like Jennifer said she didn't notice anything or she didn't see anything or nothing looked like Stefan in those photos. In fact, his face is in one of them. Oh my goodness. I have a lot of evidence. This guy is going down, let me tell you. Let's now look at page 31 of the incident report. At the time,
I'm not sure about the audio. It's cutting in and out. Give me a yeah, we love Plunder. She does a great job of reporting on the facts. And again, let's take a listen to this. And I heard the audio is getting a little choppy. So let me just play it again.
To the front entrance of the complex made with security.
Is that on my end or is that on her end? Is it? Hold on, let's take a listen.
Surveillance. Detective Acosta and I reviewed the surveillance showing both the front and the rear entrance of the complex, which exited onto Dyer Boulevard. In the surveillance footage, I observed a male wearing a red shirt leaving the complex in a 2010 silver MKZ through the rear gate at 7:50 a.m. with a female wearing a green sweater in the front seat. This person appeared to be sitting upright with her head slumped over to her left side. At 8:19 a.m., I observed a male wearing a red shirt enter the complex through the front gate near North Hoagland Boulevard. In the silver Lincoln with someone in the front passenger seat wearing a green sweater and once again slumped over. So she's still slumped over from 7:50 a.m. to 8:19 a.m. And then at 8:31 a.m., the male wearing the red shirt left the complex in the silver Lincoln MKZ through the rear gate with a female in the front passenger seat, they mean, completely slumped over to the left. And it gets even more descriptive in some parts where they...
All right, so here's a trigger warning. It does get a little bit more descriptive. I actually read some of the documents in the past, and they talked about this with the slumping over to the left, which is unnatural for somebody. And again, as a trigger warning, if you suffer from PTSD or anything like that, go on to talk about the condition of how her mouth was open. It's tough. It's tough to hear it, folks. But let's take a listen. Good to see you, Danielle. Thank you for being here. Lisa B, always. Thank you for being here. Lou G. Yeah, very disturbing, folks. Very. Jeff, good to see you. Thank you, Joey. Thank you for the trigger warning.
They talk about how Maddie's mouth is agape, is open and totally slumped over. And they even describe what it was like finding her body and what she was wearing. And I didn't include this part in my notes, just where on the property she was found, near these like hay barrels. And it doesn't sound like she was like buried. It sounds like he kind of haphazardly put her in between this location and tried to cover her up.
Now, as we saw, and on that farmer's property, which is right off the road, he drove through the gate. We believe he drove through in that gate that was left open, and then went behind the bushes and laid her down there, and probably tried to put some parts, some hay or something to kind of cover her body. And they talk about this in these documents. There was also a sheriff who leaked inadvertently photos, crime scene photos, and people, I've actually seen those, were leaked on the internet. And unfortunately, once they get on the internet, you can't unsee them. So I actually saw them, and it was despicable, to say the least.
But unfortunately, there were flies and everything else that at least detectives were led to Maddie because of all this great detective work. Now let's go over this one crazy interview with Jennifer Soto from page 32. On February 27th, 2024, Detective Acosta and I conducted a digitally recorded sworn interview with who I am assuming is Jennifer due to the nature of the things discussed. It continues, I introduced myself to Jennifer and informed her I was going to be the lead detective on this investigation. I informed Jennifer that Detective Hunt had provided me with a synopsis of what had occurred the day Maddie went missing. I informed Jennifer I had been advised she had a new job and that she had asked Maddie and Stefan to sleep upstairs because she needed to get rest, which she stated that was correct. According to Jennifer, Maddie had her birthday party on February 25th, 2024, beginning at 1500 hours, which is 3 p.m., and ending at an unknown time. Jennifer had not attended due to being at work. We will also finally learn, according to one of Maddie's friends, Stefan was not at Maddie's birthday party either, so neither one of them were there. Now, Jennifer advised that her sister had dropped off Maddie at her house at approximately 20:30 hours, which is around 8:30 p.m., and she believed Stefan had arrived shortly after that time. Like, why did he show up right when it was time for Maddie to come home? Like, did Jennifer...
Because he went there with a purpose, ladies and gentlemen. He went there with a purpose of murdering her. And that is hard to say, but it is a fact. This was premeditated. He knew he was going there to kill her. And that could be the only reason why he showed up.
Call him and say, okay, I'm going to be working late. Come on over there and stay with Maddie. Stefan informed Jennifer that Maddie had taken her nighttime medication and was getting ready for bed, which consisted of...
Was it her nighttime medication, or was it his concoction of what he gave her to put her in the state that she was, to make it easy for him to finish the deed of murder. I believe that obviously we won't have access to it, but her autopsy report will show that there was other substances in her system given by Stephan Sterns.
Taking a shower. Jennifer arrived at the house from working approximately at 22:30 hours, which is around 10:30 p.m. So it wasn't that much later. I mean, why did she even need Stearns there? And that's when Jennifer sent Maddie and Stefan to bed at approximately 2300 hours, which is 11 p.m. I asked Jennifer where Maddie and Stefan slept, and she stated upstairs in bedroom number 4. But I don't know which one is bedroom number 4. I asked Jennifer.
I was under the impression that there was 2 bedrooms upstairs, but she said bedroom number 4. And again, that's her statement. But according to some of the real estate documents that I looked, there was 2 bedrooms upstairs. But who knows? This could be just part of Jennifer Soto giving bad information. This is just a statement that she gave to them.
If it was normal for Stefan and Maddie to sleep in the same room, to which she stated sometimes she would send them upstairs when she needed a really good night's sleep, which is so weird to me. It's weird and selfish, and as we get into the relationship between Jen and Maddie, and Jennifer also advised sometimes they would all sleep together in the king-size bed, and other times Stefan would sleep upstairs, meaning Maddie and she would sleep alone. Like, why is he even there? Jennifer's sending Stefan off to sleep with Maddie, but then she's also just Jennifer and Maddie sometimes sleep alone, and Stefan's
again. This is a prime example of what mother with good intentions would say, you know what, I'm going to let my 13-year-old just turned 13 a few days ago. I'm going to let my 13-year-old retire to bed at 11 o'clock with the person he hasn't been there, he said, since December of 2023. So late February, I'm going to just let him show up here and go and have a private night's sleep with my 13-year-old daughter. Things that make you go,
another room. Anyway, we'll also go over the mystery about why they broke up. Maddie wouldn't say why, wouldn't tell her friend why Stefan and Jennifer broke up. Her friends are going to talk about how close Stefan and Maddie were in terms of always, communicating, and the cops found a lot of communication between the two of them on her phone. All of Stefan's grooming this little girl. But then Maddie's going to criticize Stefan. She's going to speak badly about him to her counselor without admitting what she was really suffering. But sometimes Maddie and Jennifer would sleep alone, and Jennifer advised it usually depended on everyone's schedule the following day. I asked Jennifer what time she had woken up on February 26, 2024, to which she stated she believed sometime between 8 a.m. and 8:15 because Stefan had gone into the room to put the leash on the dog. Now, this story is one that changes. Jennifer heard people in the kitchen, and as far as she knew, Maddie had gone downstairs to get ready for school. Jennifer then stated that either Maddie or Stefan, I'm not sure which one because it's blacked out, so maybe they're talking about Maddie, maybe they're talking about Stefan here. One of them had a makeshift room in the living room.
I think that if it's blacked out and redacted, it's probably Maddie. Because if you guys correct me if I'm wrong, if you remember from the story that Jennifer Soto told, she said that she saw Madeline the morning of. So I think that Stephan Sterns' name wouldn't be redacted and blacked out in that report, because Maddie's an underage 13-year-old. I believe it is Madeline that is referred to in that report.
That had a television. Maybe that's where Stefan did his toys and painting and stuff. It had a television, a desk, a dresser, and a bed. Maddie or Stefan only used this room to hang out and would never sleep there. I asked Jennifer if she visually observed Maddie on the morning of February 26, 2024, to which she stated no. So where did all that talk come from? It flies in the face of that other report that claims Jennifer said she saw Maddie around 8 a.m. that morning. Other reports, Jennifer is going to say, oh no, the last time I saw her was Sunday night. And so then why did Jennifer correct Stefan, claiming Stefan was like, oh, Maddie had on maybe black pants or something, and Jennifer jumped in and said that.
All right. So what I'm going to do here, folks, is this is an hour-long video. I'm going to link it in the description. But essentially, according to our good friend Plunder here, this is what is also an additional nail in the coffin of this perpetrator, Stephan Sterns. This nail in the coffin is going to be, again, 896 pages worth. And a whole hour of this, of her reading through the documents, she cannot get through, obviously, 896 pages. But my point and my purpose of this is that this is a mother who was willingly letting her child sleep with a grown man who's her boyfriend. It's not even her father. If it was her biological father, I mean, even that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, even that would be unusual and not something that would normally happen, where you take a teenager, she's now a teenager, you're now going to say, oh, go to bedroom number 4, it's vacant, go and take my daughter. I had a long day, I got home at 10 o'clock, it's now 11, go and sleep in the room with my daughter. It's just insane. This is stuff that you can't make up. This is a story that blows my mind. But then you look at the other side of this. You look at the other side of the coin, where you have mothers like my next guest, who's going to be joining me, Jordan, a mother who cares dearly and loves her daughter, and had the biological father. They weren't married, but under common law, if you have a child with somebody, I know here in New York, if you have a child with someone, it's almost like your common law. She had a 2-year-old daughter with her boyfriend. And he, in shocking fashion, unbeknownst to her, she had no knowledge whatsoever, went to work, got a phone call from FBI agents that they were conducting a warrant at her home. And I have her waiting in the studio. As soon as she gives me the thumbs up, I'm going to add her in to continue this conversation, to have this discussion, because Jordan is the exact opposite of Madeline Soto's mom, Jennifer. Jordan cares dearly. She's advocating for her daughter, and her story is an unbelievable one. And again, the reason I got connected with Jordan is because Charlotte Senna, another child, a 9-year-old child who was abducted at a New York State campground by a sexual predator, asked me to come and get together with her. So Jordan, as soon as you're ready, you let me know if you can hear me. I can hear you. I'm going to add you in. Joining me from North Carolina is Jordan. Thank you so much for being here, Jordan. I appreciate it. Trying to do this so long, and I'm glad that you came.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm not sure if are you using earbuds or anything, or are you just going?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're connected because I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Let me see if there's something I could do. Hold on. Mute mic. Hold on. Sometimes this works. Did you connect them up? Before you join.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't hear you.
Hold on.
All right. So she's going to try to fix it. But again, the story that she's going to tell you is going to be blowing. So you guys said that you can hear her. I'm going to have to take my other, hold on. Let me grab my other headphone and put it in my second side. Maybe she's coming out of my right side instead of my left. So if that's me, then it's my bad. All right. Let's try Jordan again. Let's try it again. All right, Jordan.
Hello.
Hello?
No? No?
I can't hear her. Give me a second. Hold on. Very unusual. Never had that happen before. All right, Jordan. So do me a favor. I'm going to bounce you out, come back in, and maybe that might fix it. That's my only thing I can do. All right. So Jordan's going to come back. I couldn't hear her. I don't know why. I know you guys, you guys can hear her fine. I wasn't able to hear her. As soon as she comes back, this story, I'm going to cue it up. It's unfreaking believable. So what happened to Jordan is unbelievable. I'm going to play it here quickly from her TikTok. So give me 2 seconds.
First, I received a call from an FBI agent stating he was at my house with a search warrant. I thankfully was at work 10 minutes away. When I arrived home, I was met outside by 2 FBI agents telling me to hurry and lock my car because Ty, again, my daughter's biological father, ran. They walked with me up to my apartment. When we got through the doors, they shared with me that my ex, Ty, was being arrested, capture, distribution, and possession of CSAM, some of our own 2-year-old child, and of other children. They eventually caught him and he was taken to jail, where he remains to this day.
Wow. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully second time is going to be a charm. I've never had it where you guys can hear my guest, but I can't. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully it's fixed. Jordan?
Yes.
Yay, it worked.
Yay!
All right, I'm so sorry. So sorry about the technical difficulties. Hey, there's a first time for everything. Jordan,
Okay.
Jordan, again, it's been a month where we've been trying to get together and talk about this. This case, Stephan Sterns, I don't know if you saw it out of Florida, but the mom authorized and sanctioned her boyfriend who doesn't have a job and has got a shady past to sleep with her daughter. And this went on for like almost 7 whole years. She was 13 years old. He wound up murdering her, and they found 400 plus images and videos on his phone. This rings so it's like it's not exactly what your story is and what happened to your daughter, but it rings so loud to some of the folks. She's got a babysitter there, so she's probably doing babysitting mom communication. But I do want to show this. I do want to show this. She just muted. This is her story. She's going to tell her story again. I got a better audio. This is from one of the local news stations. So I'm going to play it quick for you guys.
Subject matter may be disturbing. For some, we'll be discussing child abuse and child pornography. Jordan Stevenson, a North Carolina woman, took to TikTok in a plea for help after her husband and father of her child was arrested for his involvement in a child pornography ring and was using their 2-year-old daughter to trade inappropriate, explicit photos. Here with us now to tell her story is Jordan Stevenson. Jordan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
back.
Before we begin, I just want to mention that we are going to be.
All right. So I was doing fill-in. Everything okay, Jordan? Are you guys all right?
Everything's okay.
All right.
Yeah, I have maintenance here. They brought me a portable air conditioner.
We were talking about that yesterday. So it's in the high 80s, low 90s there, and she has no air conditioning. So they're bringing in a portable. All right. When it rains, it pours. Can you tell the audience, because everyone is now like they've heard parts of it. I played a little bit of the O&A interview there. Just give us an overview. I know you talk on TikTok continuously about this. This incident took place in August of 2023. So I'll let you take it over from there.
Yeah, so my ex was arrested by the FBI on August 21st for the manufacture, distribution, and possession of CSAM, and that is child sexual abuse material. Our 3-year-old was the main victim in his case, among other victims. Basically, he quit his job in June. He lied to me about it. I went to work one day, and that was August 21st. I got a call from the FBI saying that they were at my house with a search warrant and I needed to come back. I was only 10 minutes away at a client home. So I was able to rush back quickly. When I arrived, I noticed there were like police cars blocking off the shopping center that is right across from our apartment complex, but I didn't see any in our lot, which I thought was weird. So when I pulled up and parked, 2 agents jumped out of a vehicle, they came up to me and were like, lock your door, lock your door. So I went ahead and I locked my door and kind of, I was like, what's happening? What's going on? The panic attacks were really setting in for me. And they basically told me that he ran away. And so I had to lock my doors, you know, just in case he was waiting to come back and get the car.
Right.
But I came, you know, they took me upstairs and we were just I mean, I was hyperventilating, but they were just saying, you know, it's okay, your daughter's okay, everything's fine. And because when I got the original call, they had told me, you know, everything's fine, we're with Ty, we're with your daughter, everything's okay, we just need you to come back. And so my thought kind of going over there was like, okay, at least everybody's fine. But when I'm pulling up and he's gone, then it's like panicking. It just kind of starts over with the panic. And yeah, so they brought me in and nobody really told me anything for a while. I heard the agent who had called me and I knew his voice. It was very like, it was a unique voice. So I knew it was him. And so I went over to him and I don't really remember what all happened. I know they were telling me to wait and that they were going to have the lead come in, but the lead was out looking for him.
Right.
So I know they were waiting on the lead to come in and like talk to me. But my house was filled with FBI agents. Like there was 4 in my small kitchen. There were 4 at my dining room table. There was 2 in each of my like rooms in my apartment. They were everywhere. And so, yeah, I remember panicking and just like kind of walking around. I remember they were like, do you want to sit down? Like, sit down, have some water, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't, I don't know, you
Yeah.
know, what I'm
You were
doing.
freaking out. You were freaking out.
Mhm.
And listen, a lot
Yeah.
of people in the chat are like, I've never heard CSAM. It's child sexual abuse material, right?
Yes.
So, you know, these kind of stories, we don't get to hear them from the victims right straight from, you know, because victims usually are underage. So as a parent, you have been advocating on TikTok for yourself and your daughter, and people right away in the chat, right out from the gate before you even started talking, when we had the little technical snafus, people were like, please tell us that her 3-year-old, now she's 3,
Yeah,
her
I
2-year-old
just
now
saw
3,
that.
is
Yeah.
she okay? Everybody.
She's okay. She's okay. She's doing well, actually, all things considered. She got into a therapist very quickly. That was my number one thing above all else. I was like, okay, we're going straight to psychology today. We're going to figure out where she can get a play therapist. And so I had her with one therapist, and I liked that therapist initially, but I decided to go with this other therapist. And she's been with her since February. And so it's going really well. She loves her. It's great.
Now,
She's doing well.
I don't want to get too personal, but I have to do this. I want to, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. How long of a relation, like how long did you know Ty? And was there any kind of red flags or anything? Because I know people ask you a lot about that on your TikTok and it gets kind of redundant, but my audience is new to this. They don't know anything about this. You know, people want to know, like, for mothers that are out there, were there some telltale signs that were odd and a little bit off about Ty, or was this just completely out of like left field?
No, I think it's a common misconception that there's always going to be signs, because the signs that are the most spoken about are the signs, the physical signs, like in terms of the child involved. But when we're talking about indicators as far as him or anything like that, nothing. And I kind of posted some conversations because some people he was in jail with actually reached out. And it was really, I posted the messages because it was validation that this dude, he lies. He tells you just enough of the truth that it makes sense, that it's plausible.
Right.
Because that's what manipulators do. And so he does just enough and then, you know, twist the rest of it. So I can confidently say no signs. I know some people are like, well, hindsight's 2020. I'm like, no,
No.
because
Yeah.
they're predators, they're manipulators. They know they know how to hide it.
And they know how to
So
take advantage of situations. And that leads me to my next segue.
yeah.
Several months before this incident took place, your dad unexpectedly passed away. And I know this is tough for you to talk about, and I'm so sorry
No,
for your
it's okay.
loss. I mean, you know, in our
Thank you.
communication, you had said to me when this stuff was going wrong inside your home and you were having these issues, you were telling me how much you miss your dad. And at that point, I had already saw your videos. I knew that he was gone, and I knew how much it hurt you. And you mentioned to me when we talked before we went live that you felt that he took advantage of your weak kind of mental condition
Yeah,
because you were
yeah,
so
very.
upset about
Oh,
losing your dad.
absolutely.
So
Oh, absolutely.
I just want you to maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So this happened in March. My dad passed in March 2023. So on March 5th, 2023, I got a call from my mom. She basically said, you know, hey, I woke up this morning and dad's not here. And my dad, you know, they're from Montana. My dad was a mountain biker, like trials riding. I grew up, he had trophies and like medals in my garage. It was like, it was his thing. And so we knew that he would frequently do that kind of a thing. And we knew where he would go because it was places that he took us when we were kids. And so my sisters knew kind of that area a little bit better that he frequented. But when my mom called me and told me that he wasn't home, I was like, okay, when's the last time you saw him? And she tells me it was the night before at like 4 p.m. He said, so that would have been March 4th. He said he went out, he was going out for a bike ride. And she ended up falling asleep by 7. So yeah, she didn't know that he never came back until the morning. And basically what happened with him is he when she called and told me that, I immediately knew because I knew where he liked to go and I knew that it was sub-zero temps in Montana. I'm telling you, there was no way he survived that. And we knew that. I knew that personally right off the bat. When I spoke with my younger siblings and my older brother, they were very much so hopeful, but I don't operate that way, unfortunately. But because I am more like my dad, like you,
uh-oh.
of situations really goes away when you've been seeing it so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he was in a mountain biking accident and it took 6 search and rescue parties. It took over 24 hours before they located his body. And
My
yes, he
God.
was deceased.
My
Yeah.
God.
Helicopters, drones, search parties. It was crazy. So my brother bought me a flight and we met up in Texas because that's where the layover was. So we met up in Texas and it was within a few hours of, figuring out that he passed away for sure. So we were there the next day, but we had packed our bags in anticipation of joining the search and rescue.
Right.
So it was hard to receive that call that for sure they found him.
Wow. A lot of people in the chat are supporting you, and I have linked all of your LinkedIn, your link tree and your GoFundMe and all the things. Pat Swanson sends a super chat, and she says, Jordan, you're so strong. Your daughter is going to do well just because she has you. Amen to that. So she's getting air conditioning, I think. I believe that she's getting air conditioning in her
Yeah.
You have air?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they put a portable air conditioner in, and her daughter have been suffering because it's been really hot there. So Jordan, I want to play a little thing to show people how thankful you are for the support that you've been getting, because I think that's an important piece of this.
Oh, yeah.
You are a loving, caring mother, and unlike this case that we highlighted here with Stephan Sterns and Jennifer Soto, you're looking to protect your daughter in any and every way that you can going forward. Although, because she was 2 years old, 2 years young, I like to say, the advantage is you and your daughter right now, because you can effectively, through counseling and through things of that nature, you being close with her, you can help her. This makes it much more difficult if she was in her teen years or 8 or 9 or 7 or even beyond that age. So advantage you. But I want to highlight this because it wasn't coming over great, but I'm gonna see if the volume is better on this piece right here. And just give me a second to go full screen because I'm not a TikToker and take the.
So incredibly moved by the generosity.
Okay, so she's soft-spoken, folks.
Kindness.
So let me get this back.
I was crying.
Aw.
No, I
want
was
to.
so grateful.
How do I read?
Those of you,
Okay, there we go. All right, let me get. I got it from the beginning.
to all my new followers and to everyone who's been here with me since day one, thank you so much. I'm so incredibly moved by the generosity and kindness of those of you who have been supporting me and donating, and it's really been a surreal experience. I said this in one of the first few of my videos, and I was referencing the FBI investigation, CPS, hospital. I was referencing all of that. And in reference to that, I said, if this had to happen, it couldn't have gone a better way. And I just want to double down on that statement right now. This would have gone undoubtedly so much worse and in so much of a different direction if I didn't have the love and support of all of you. The last few days I've been feeling majorly overwhelmed, but not all in a negative way. I've been feeling positively overwhelmed too, just in a state of overwhelm. And that's why I haven't been posting. But I'm so grateful that the financial struggles I'm facing are so much less.
Let me stop it here just for a second because people might be wondering, and I'm going out of order here because I only have an hour to get this all out. Jordan was working 2 jobs. Her baby's father, the boyfriend, the biological dad, however you want to refer to him as, he wasn't working at the time, right? So folks are asking in the chat, and they're not asking to be mean. They're asking like, what's the motive? Jordan now had to stop working after August, was it 21st? I have it written down. Yeah, August 21st. Her world came to a crashing halt. Now, listen, I'm 60 years old. I could be Jordan's father. I have kids her age. I know as a young parent, because I started my fatherhood at age 27. So right around probably the same time Jordan started having a family, I was working my ass off. And if I lost my income, I used to have to count change to get diapers for my boys. All right. This is what happened to this young girl. And she wasn't a TikTok sensation. She wasn't were you on TikTok before that happened? No.
I was on.
She got thrusted into social media, and you could stop me anytime I'm going off. She got thrusted into social media because of the evil things that happened to her and her daughter. Primarily, obviously, her daughter's the victim here. Her mom as well is a victim. And she had no source of income because she couldn't leave her daughter with a babysitter after that happened. And she went straight to what she could do, and what was social media. And this is you saying thank you to the people. And I don't know what time frame this all is, because I can go chronologically, but her daughter is now 3 years old. And at that time she was 2. And all of a sudden, all of her income came to a crashing halt. This is a mother. She has to put food on her table. She has to pay her bills. She needs to have, the essentials that we all know and have. And here she is explaining to people why she wasn't posting for a while because of different anxieties and different situations going on and dealing with the current situation. And to me, I thought this was really genuine and real noble of you to go on there and say thank you to everybody, but at the same time explain to them, I got a lot of shit going on here, right?
Yeah. So in the very beginning, yeah, I didn't even have anyone to watch my daughter. So reiterating, like, I am alone in North Carolina. It is just me. My family, even in Montana, California, all the places, Oregon, the places that they are, I'm on the other side of the country.
Right.
And none of them could change my circumstance. I mean, my dad had just passed. My mom can't change my circumstance. My siblings are, well, they're young, but like they're young adults. They can't change it. It was like I didn't have anywhere to turn to in terms of like familial support or community within North Carolina at all. And then on top of that, what I had was right after, it was actually right before my first video that I ever made. Right before that happened, I was told, I had a meeting with my FBI victims advocate, my state police, city police victims advocate, and then also the lead on Ty's case. And we were going through resources and things like that. And I was like, there's nothing here. And these advocates were like, they didn't know anything about any of these resources that they were handing to me. They handed me a bunch of pamphlets and a piece of paper, a list. Yeah. And it was like, I found out very quickly there was nothing here for me. So I just ended up like, I was spiraling. I filmed a TikTok, and then my childhood friend, the TikTok advocate, Katie Ray, she is a survivor of human trafficking. And so she uses her platform to advocate and raise awareness and things like that. She saw my video and I was just like, oh my God, I forgot we were like friends. Right. It was like, what am I thinking? Like, and so she has a large following and she dove right in to help me. Katie, we just FaceTimed yesterday. She is my lifeline. I would be nowhere without Katie. The only reason I'm anywhere safe and now cool is because of Katie. And then, I had other creators help me after that, like Donish. He was the one so that video, it was him. He did a fundraiser and they raised so much money in 24 hours. It was amazing. And I was sobbing before, I was so relieved, I was sobbing after, like, the amount of stress that, because so originally it was, I don't have a babysitter, right? And then I found someone, but I couldn't find anyone consistent. So I found someone to watch her, but then they quit. And then I went to in-home daycares, and she was in a couple in-home daycares, and those moms that ran those in-home daycares, they quit. And then I found a third one, and she moved to Minnesota. And it was just like, how I was so frustrated. And I was on the waiting list for Head Start at that time.
Right. And you were probably nervous about using daycare anyways, right?
Dude,
I mean, walking away from your child at this point is just, forget it. Yeah. I want to play this. This is one of your viral TikToks. And I told you I wasn't going to do this, but I'm hoping that it's got better audio than some of the other ones. But this one is pinned, and this is her TikTok here. Just so if you guys want to go, I have it linked in the description. If you want to go and support her or follow her story, she has dozens and dozens, like she has tons of videos on this. Let's see.
House with a search warrant. I was at my client's house 10 minutes away, but my 2-year-old daughter and her biological father, my boyfriend at the time, were home. When I arrived, a few FBI agents met me out front and informed me that Ty, my daughter's biological father, had ran. I remember the panic attacks I had as they took me up the stairs. My heart was pounding, my chest was tight. I felt like I could not breathe. What was going on? Inside,
Am I losing this, or is that just me in my ear?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it on my
I'll let
end,
it
you were
continue
just a
because I
little
can't
bit.
hear it anymore.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
So we can't hear it. All right.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what's happening. I hate when this happens, and on all of my videos, this would be the worst time for me to lose. Lose audio. But you guys are going to get the idea. All you have to do is go over to the description in this video, and you could get every little bit of Jordan's story, ways to support her and her daughter. This is a prime example, and the reason I wanted to have you here is A, to help you, and to B, say, hey, this is the complete opposite of what we see with the Madeleine Soto and Jennifer Soto, the mom, and Stephan Sterns. This is a complete polar opposite, but you're going through it and it's difficult. There's so many people in the chat, and I just want to say stuff. I want to just say a couple of things. I want to highlight some of these chat comments, if you don't mind. And people are saying, no sound. You could hear me, right?
I can hear you. You were
Yeah.
cutting out a little bit, but you're fine now. Oh, now I can't hear you.
Hold on a second. All right.
Oh, okay.
I saw that I was muted. Now I have no sound on the thing. My audience is saying no sound. So yeah, a lot of people, bless your heart. They're people supporting in the chat and wanting to find out ways to support. Can you tell them, please? I have your link tree linked, which is all of your stuff, and like people that they can write and things of that nature. Would you just tell people, if they want to support you, how they could go about that?
Absolutely. So right now I'm still fundraising. I have a custody case, and I also, there's a custody case, and then I have attorneys at a federal level. Thankfully, those are doing everything pro bono because they're representing my daughter technically. But I'm also raising, so the money for the lawyer is not just for custody, because North Carolina actually doesn't strip him of his rights. Even though he did what he did, they do not take his rights away. So currently he has rights. And right now there's a DVPO. However, there's a lot of things that could happen, and we're not really willing to risk it. Especially with family court being the way that it is right now, I'm just not willing to risk it. So it's custody, and then we have some joint debt. We also have some joint, like, not assets, but like what's like a car payment. We have things like that. And then the last thing is kind of like a last living will and testament. What happens in the event that I pass away, because absolutely not his family will be getting their hands on her, and absolutely not mine. And so it's really important that, we get that. And I kind of rolled it all up into one thing, and an attorney is willing to draw it up and just get him in front of a notary. So that's really what I'm raising money for right now. Yeah.
And what's going on with his case? I know he's going to be sentenced. He pled guilty. He did not try to plead not guilty and fight this thing. He was charged locally, and then all those local charges were superseded into a federal indictment. So the feds are taking this over, and he pled guilty, and a plea deal was reached. Controversial on your TikTok, 15 to 50 years. Is what they were saying, the parameters of the sentences. Again, I know feds, if the feds say 15 to 50, if they come up with 25 years, he's serving pretty much all of those 25 years. If it's state or, local charge of state, you get out released on parole. But the feds don't have federal parole, and they don't give early releases very often. So if he did say get 25 years, or 15 years, he would do all of those years, no matter what the thing is. So it's at 15 to 50, it's up to the judge. But can you talk to the audience about how you feel about that? Because it's really about you and how you feel, not about how the world feels. How are you with that?
So it's not entirely true at all, actually, that he couldn't do like things to lessen his sentence. He, for one, the biggest thing is he can get credit for time served. And there are a slew of programs that he could do to shorten his sentence while he's in federal prison. So there's also a chance, because it's one manufacturer, one possession, there's a chance that, you know, he doesn't do anywhere near that. Sorry, somebody's like at my door.
Okay. Yeah, but we're going to hope for the best. We're going to hope for the best sentence possible that will be just for the crime that he committed. But again, you know, he's in custody right now, so that'll all be part of time served. She's got a lot going on there. So I can only imagine what's happening. So she's got maintenance there. So this might be just bad timing. But what I'm saying,
sorry.
yeah, it's fine. What I'm saying is though that his time served would be the time that he's in right now, from August till now. Will give that time will be time served. But if he gets, like I said, 15 years, at least my experience with the feds is if you get most criminals say to me on the street, I don't want to do federal time, because federal time, you do almost all of it. So that's the good part in my eyes. So anyways, Jordan, I'll try to make this quick because I know you got to go. So any final words or anything for the folks here at Crime Time with DutyRon? And everyone's here to support you. The GoFundMe is in the link in the description and all that stuff. And heck, what else could we do to help support you?
I mean, I really think I am so much further now than I was in the beginning. I'm so much further along. There's really just, like I said, like the attorney that I am fundraising for. But other than that, I've really secured the house. Like, we're fine. We have a house.
Right.
Like, my lease doesn't end. Like, everything's okay at this point. She just got into Head Start. They moved her off the wait list. Like, and we both have therapists. I'm so much further along than I was initially. So right now, really, I thankfully, it's just this one massive thing. And then always, I really appreciate the emotional support, the community that comes from, you know, my TikTok. I am planning on kind of migrating over to other social platforms as well. I've started an Instagram, but, you know, and it's also another streamline of like income for me as well, which is great because I can work a full-time job. I can do this, but I can still have all that time with my daughter still. So social media has really been a blessing in terms of that. I've been able to make an income through all of this, right, while also, you know, being present with my daughter. So yeah, I appreciate the emotional support. I appreciate if you can donate. I always say, please do. If you can't, I get it. Life is hard for everyone right now, but yeah, I appreciate everybody so much.
I'm scrolling your TikTok because this is a way you guys can help her, is by going and watching her TikToks. If you are on TikTok, and if you're not, there is a link right inside her TikTok. I'll get up to the top of it. And again, I'm sorry about the audio snafus. I usually don't have that. For most people that know me, I don't have it. But here's the link tree, and this is everything. She shows people to email. I don't know if this is still going on, or people to do this.
I mean,
that's
fine too. That helps too. That was kind of like, I've kind of made peace that the feds aren't going to do their job. So I'm like,
okay. So that battle is over. But it was my pleasure to highlight your case and your daughter's case here on Crime Time with DutyRon. I'm encouraging everyone to go and look at the links in the description, support her. We sent donations to her a couple of times already. Unbeknownst to all of you guys, I use the funds that I get, all of the money that I make from here, I use it to help victims and their families. And we sent two donations over to Jordan on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon, and that will continue to come in. So any super chats or anything that came in from here, and I want to thank the people who have super chatted and left kind messages and became members. Here's a $20 super chat. I'm donating as a reminder that Stephan Sterns and all around, they all look like normal people. Stay vigilant and good work for others. DutyRon and Ed. Yeah. Evil walks amongst us, and it comes in all different shapes and sizes and faces. You never know what your next door neighbor or your spouse or your significant other is up to. There's always time where you can't always be together. So you have to keep your head on a swivel and kind of pay attention to what's going on. Jeff, thank you for the super chat. As a survivor, Jeff Litweiler says, I really hope to watch this. Thank you, Jeff. Your story is riveting, and I always send you strength and prayers. Mindy, thank you for becoming a member. Lisa sends a super chat and says, tell us your daughter is doing well, please. She has. Yes, she's doing great.
Yes, she is. She's doing great.
Here's another one from Tess Swanson. She says, Jordan, you're so strong. Your daughter is going to do well just because she has you.
Thank you.
That's very kind.
I appreciate that very much.
Shannon, thank you.
I see, and that's what I'm talking about. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here that are supporting you. And look, Lisa says, I'm new, just came through this video. So you're definitely being exposed to like a whole different kind of group of people and different folks who have not heard anything about your case. Again, thank you for all to tuning in. Please go over and check all the links in the description. And Jordan, if there's anything I could do, obviously text, email, phone, you got my phone number. Anything that I could do, or my partner, Ed, he wasn't here with us because he just came home from Morocco. He was there for a month. And yeah, well, he was working though, but so he does forensics, he's a forensic expert. But I apologize for the snafus with the audio. That doesn't normally happen. I promise, I swear it doesn't normally happen. But yeah, thank you so much. And on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, I want to wish everyone a happy and a great, well, we're at Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. So thank you all for tuning in. And Jordan, I'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. So there goes Jordan. An interesting story, and a strong, young 29-year-old mother of one child that's 3 years old, and was a victim of child sexual abuse materials. Her father did despicable things behind Jordan's back. And there's a lot more to the story, and I encourage you to go over to TikTok and listen to the story. I'm linking Plunder's video in the description here because Plunder has the 411 on the three on the additional documents, and there's so many of these documents as it pertains to Stephan Sterns. It's troubling. 896 new pages of documents, and we're already an hour and such into this thing. I'm going to link it in the description so you guys can go over and watch it. Go over to her channel and watch it. I want to thank you for being here. Friday is going to be my next, it's a scheduled live stream, and I'd like to show it to you guys. If you guys don't mind, I want to show it. I'm going to be at the Gabby Petito Foundation fundraiser out in
this is such a
out in Mount Sinai. And I want to show you this video because it's important. You guys can go over and support the Gabby Petito Foundation. And as you can see here, this live stream is already created. I donated $50 right here. It goes straight to the Gabby Petito Foundation. It doesn't come through my channel. So go on over. A bunch of people are chatting in there. People are becoming members. And I thank you all for supporting. Yeah, Sean B's in there, a whole bunch of people. I'll have this linked in the description as well. I'm going to be there on Friday, and I'll be live at the request of Gabby Petito's mom. And I'll do the best that I can to bring you a fundraiser. And as you can see down here, it says fundraiser. So all of the money that comes in on this fundraiser goes straight to the Gabby Petito Foundation. If you want to support them, please consider going on over there. You can go right now and hit this donate button, and you donate now, and it brings you to this page that tells you to prevent domestic violence, help the Gabby Petito Foundation, and it gives their mission statement, and you can make all different kinds of donations. So thank you for being here. I'll see you guys Friday, 3 p.m. And again, I like to end these things by saying, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially those victims of crime and their families. And Jordan's family, Madeline, Soto, we pray for her to be continuing to rest in peace and for justice to be served in her case against Stephan Sterns, the death penalty imposed. Let's get a successful trial and a conviction of Stephan Sterns. And if Jennifer Soto is involved, let's bring her to justice as well. I feel strongly about it. So thank you to the mods, the replay viewers, the super chatters, and everybody that's here. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love from Crime Time with DutyRon. Good night.